64 items of sadhana bhaktis are there. And 20 out of that 64, this 20 are essential. First 20 are essential. And then there are additional 44. But in that additional 44 also, this last 5 are the most effective, the most important one. All of the Panchanga Bhakti, Sadhu Sangana, Kirtan Bhagavas, Mathura Sevas, Srimati Swadhyaya Seva. This five are the most important one. We'll discuss that. So out of this 20, the first 10 are Prakriti and second 10 are Nivriti. So first 10 which are to be accepted and the second 10 which are need to be avoided. These are the offenses or the not so good activity that we must avoid. And out of all this, the first 3 are very important out of this 1 to 10. And what are these first 10? First 3 of this 1 to 10. First is Guru Padasraya and Tasmat Krishna Diksha Sikshanam Vishramena Guru Shiva. We'll discuss each of them. So first is Guru Padasraya. Guru Padasraya. We discussed also this one principles. This one principle opens the door for the other 63 items of sadhana bhakti. Because the spiritual master will instruct us about how to execute those 63 angas of bhakti. So the first and foremost is really to accept the center of a bona fide spiritual master. And we put it from this verse, like Tasmat Gurum Prapadyate Jigyasuse Sabde Parichanisnakam. So here in this verse, I think all of you know this verse. So here, this is from 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 21st verse. And here, this starts with Tasma. Tasma means, yes, we are the human beings, the living entities are suffering in this material world. And they are looking for the happiness. And if we are really looking for the happiness, to get out of this material world, means you have to approach the Guru. You have to surrender to the Guru. You have to take center of the Guru. Being inquisitive and Sreya, to understand what is Sreya, what is the Sreya and the Preya. It's the ultimate good. What is ultimate good? And then this line really talks about the qualification of the Guru. It talks about 3 qualifications. Who is a Guru? Who is a Guru? Yes, we have to take center of Guru. And this verse also talks about what is the qualification of Guru. Yes, Sabda Pare. Sabde Parecha Nishnatam. Nishnatam means is a perfect knowledge, he's expert, he's well conversant with the Sabda, with the transcendental sound vibration, with the essence of the Vedas, Upanishads. And so he is well conversant, he's expert in this essence of the Vedas. And Brahmani, he's also he has really taken center taken shelter of the Brahmani. He has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Upasamaya Asraya. Upasama Asraya. He is fixed in detachment from the material affairs. So he is not really concerned with the mundane things of this world. He is completely fixed, in really absorbed and connected to the Lord and connecting everyone to the Lord. So this is the three, you can say, the aspects of a guru. And of course, Prabhupada's disciples, they have really given a very nice purport here. That sublime literature for a supreme personality of Godhead, and the spiritual master must be Nishnata. It's deeply experienced, very well conversant with Vedic literature and practical understanding of the supreme Godhead. So without scriptural knowledge and realizing of the supreme word, so-called guru will be unable to dissipate the doubts of his disciples. And this Krishna is Upasammasraya, the bona fide spiritual who is retired from the glittering illusions. So the spiritual master is also free from the glittering illusions of the society. So here, so what is the duty of the guru? Guru is to connect to Krishna, connect the disciple to Krishna. So the position of the disciple is eternal. So everybody is a disciple. The position of the disciple is eternal. But the position of the guru is relative. Like recently, you must have heard our Bhakti Sastri Vaishnava Swami Maharaj is started giving initiation to the devotees. Maybe 1 year back, like what his quality was, okay, I'm the disciple of IBC Maharaj. Or now, maybe 10 years later also, he will remain and he will identify himself as I am a disciple of the Gopal Maharaj, and I am the grand disciple, and I am the follower and his divine Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. But then now he has also additional responsibility, additional qualification as the guru of his disciples. The disciples that they are taking center of. So the position of the disciple is eternal. That is not going to change. That will remain eternal forever. So at no point of time a disciple can say that no, I don't need a guru, or I'm not a disciple anymore because I have become a master. So this parampara, this principle of guru parampara is eternal. So one must accept a spiritual master. And then Prabhupada talks about also that who is a spiritual master. So that we should not accept anyone as a spiritual master. So whose character is doubtful, who does not follow the principles of devotional service, or who has not conquered this 6 Vegas. What are the 6 Vegas that we heard? Vacha Vega, Manasa, Vega. And to accept such a spiritual master is the crucial point for advancement in the spiritual life. And one is fortunate enough to come under the center of principle. He is sure to traverse the path of spiritual service without doubt. Okay. And then, yes, you take center of the spiritual master, then you must take initiation for the spiritual master. And how we should be formally connected through the process of Diksha. Right? Last time we discussed about also Diksha. Diksha. What is Diksha means? Divyajnana. So that yes, we are, understand, we realize the spiritual knowledge for the spiritual master. And then once we accept the instructions of the spiritual master, another thing that happens is shed of all our sinful activities that we might have accumulated for millions of lifetimes and years, that gets eradicated. And then we discussed also that how in our parampara, we have this especially Bhakti Thakur and all our acharyas, they talk about this Pancha Samskara in our Diksha. What is the Pancha Samskara? Tapa, Undra, Nama, Mantra and Yaga. So, usually the first three, really we get it in our first initiation, and the last two, we get it in the second initiation. So, Tapa means what? Following the four regulative principles. This is our tapasya. Of course, in another class, Vrindavan, like I said, Gopal, what it means to be tapasya. Gopal says that tapasya means for the followers of the movement to read my books every day, 2 to 3 hours. So, yes, to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. Yes, this is tapasya. To take some voluntary austerities so that we can really control our mind and thought. Because the nature of the mind is to really flow downwards because of the gravity. So it is important that okay, once you take Diksha, we take this vow, and how we remain true to these vows. How we remain true to these vows. Or in our case, also even before Diksha, we take these steps. So yes, we take those baby steps and our progress to the Bhakti. So yes, how we understand the knowledge by going through our syllabus or curriculum, and then we are really following them. So there is always some do's and some don'ts, and we take these vows, and it's not that okay, I just gave words, and how does it really matter? I speak so many things, and I spoke also these things. No, I'm really speaking, keeping the Lord and our Guru Parampara. That is a witness, because they become accountable. They become accountable to perform those duties. But of course, as we progress in our devotional service, like as we said, there's a Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, there's a Raga sadhana bhakti. Initially, we perform all these activities as an obligation to our spiritual master and as an obligation to the scriptures. First we start with, oh, I have to do it. But then, somehow our objective should be that how can I really develop love for doing this? How can I really love studying books? How should I really develop love for chanting the holy names of the Lord? So it should really, develop those positive affirmations.
Guruji, the fast, in that fast 10, so the fast 4, like accepting the sector of one of your spiritual master, being initiated. Third is obeying his order, and fourth is following the great Acharya's footsteps. So, why all 4 points like Guruji? Like, isn't it like each one completes rest 3?
Yes, we have to accept the center of the spiritual master. Like Pranipada Pariprasnam Seva. Tadviti Pranipadena Pariprasnam. Like in this 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord talks about the different aspects of knowledge. And after that, he says that yes, you might be wondering how to understand and realize this knowledge. How do you do it? After that, I do words. And 4.34, Lord says that Vidhi Pranipadena Pariprasnena Seva. So it has to be all done together. So we have to first Pranipada, we have to directly barge in and ask question. That okay, this is another inquiry about our duties. Yes, each of the aspects really is an anga of bhakti. At the same time, it has to first start with our submission. Just like Krishna, he had submitted to Sandipani Muni, Arjuna submitted to Krishna, or Lord Ram submitted himself to Vasishtha. So always, there's a guru and Shishya. We have to submit ourselves. There has to be this component of Kinchanatam and Ananyatam. Like how we need to really have that mood that God really I don't have anything, or I don't know anything. Because if I go to the spiritual master, that oh, I know everything, and I'm just going to test the spiritual master. If he is aligning, my thoughts to his thoughts, right? That is not the mood. That's the first word. Asre, Guru Pada Asre. That's why the devotees also, once they ask that, okay, who is your spiritual master? They say, I am the disciple of the lotus feet of His Holiness, this Maharaj. They don't say that I am the disciple of this Maharaj. No, the Guru Pada Asra. I am the disciple of the lotus feet of this spiritual master. So yes, how I should really have that faith. Right? Of course, third one also is that how should I have strong faith, how strong confidence in the lotus feet of the spiritual master. But first it starts with just taking the center, and then I take the diksha, and then as it progresses further and further, right, I should really develop that firm faith and conviction and confidence in that spiritual master. Yes, it's a complementary, and also it is mutually kind of what's it called? It's a virtuous cycle as well. So here Gopal writing, what is writing? The attitude of the disciples will be to satisfy the spiritual master. Or Prabhupada writes that the success in our devotional service is the pleasure of the spiritual master. This should be Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasad. Yasya Prasado Nagati. So I should always remember this, that how can I really satisfy my spiritual master? I should always think this is the litmus test of our life. Whether it will please the spiritual master or it will not please the spiritual master. It's not that when I am in front of the spiritual master, I behave really like a devotee, but away from the spiritual master, I show my swabha. At each point of time, at each moment, with my kaya, mantra, vakya, at each moment, I am thinking that whether it will please or it will satisfy the spiritual master. Whatever the behavior, whatever the activities, whatever I speak, I should always remember this. And then, yes, next point is really the faith. We all hear this verse, Yasya devi para bhakti, yathe devi tathagar, tasyeti tathartha, kasati mahatmana. You also hear the faith in the words of the spiritual master, in the instruction of the spiritual master. As we have the faith in the Lord Hari, everything will be revealed. The essence of the knowledge will be revealed to us. So we should accept the spiritual master as a representative of the Lord. Prabhupada writing here. Should be accepted as a representative of the Saksa Dharitya Samasta Sastri. He should really accept the spiritual master as God. Because it's external manifestation of Krishna. Yes, how we should all respect and veneration, right? We should expect it. At no point of time, Guru Su Naramati, we should not think that Guru is also like us, like he's just like a human being. He is also committing mistakes. Sometimes they think, sometimes La Prabhupada also commits mistakes in maybe some reciting some verses. Janma karma janme divya devam tirkadam punarnama naiti ma vedi pandava. Why Prabhupada said Pandava? Doesn't he remember the verse? Sometimes you kind of think that, oh, I know this verse much more than maybe Prabhupada. Just to clarify that, and then Shatsura Goswami Maharaj asked Prabhupada, now how do you know that spiritual master is perfect? Spiritual master is perfect means his desire, his intention to please the Lord is perfect. And then this is a beautiful verse. How, what should the faith and confidence in the spiritual master means? Means we should really understand. And that's what Krishna is saying. Acharyamam vijaniyam navamanyate karnichit namatya buddhya asuyeda sarva deva mayo guru. Acharyamam vijaniyam. One should know that Acharya is myself is no different than Krishna himself. Navamanyate karnichit. We should not disrespect him in any way. Namartya buddhya asuyed. Namartya buddhi. No, we should not think that he is a Bhartiya Loka. He is also is out of this mortal being. And Asuyata, we should not envy him. He is Sarva Devamaya Guru. He is a representative of all the demigods. This really talks about the position of the spiritual master and how it should be the faith. Spiritual master is called Acharya, a translated professor of the spiritual science. So, a spiritual master, yes, takes charge of the disciples, teaches them Vedic knowledge, and gives them a second birth. And only out of his immense compassion does the Supreme Personality of Godhead reveal himself to the spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealings of an Acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. Like Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Guru, Acharya, like Lord Balaram, he is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. Adi Guru is Balaram, and this Adi Guru's manifestation is the Guru. That's why it's called it's order to take set of statute. Who is called Asraya Vigraha. Lord Krishna is Visaya Vigraha, and the Guru is Asraya Vigraha. So a disciple should always respect the spiritual master as a manifestation of Krishna. But at the same time, one should always remember that a spiritual master is never authorized to imitate the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. But all spiritual masters pose themselves as identical with Krishna in every respect, to explore the sentiments of their disciple. Such personalities can only mislead their disciples. So, discuss this. Okay. So, third aspect is serving the spiritual master with faith and confidence. Visrambena Guru Seva. Okay. Execution of item 2 elevates 1 to item 3. Faithfully hearing for the spiritual master elevate 1 to the platform of faithfully serving. So as we discussed, 1 leads to 2 and the first 2 leads to the item 3. And then this is another very important aspect. So is it that our that okay, we understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then to achieve Krishna, we need a spiritual master. But then how about other Vaishnavas? Do we really ignore all the Vaishnavas? Do we ignore all the other sadhus? Do we ignore all the scriptures? And then the fourth aspect, here Rupa Goswami is saying, the sadhu vartamanu anuvartanu. Following the rules and regulations according to the scriptures as approved by the acharyas. So here, somebody can read this.
Following the footsteps of we must follow not only our own spiritual master but all the bona fide sadhus and acharyas in the line of disciplic succession. Dissension between the Guru's teaching and the teachings of Guru Parampara. Since the qualification of the bona fide Guru is that he presents the scriptures strictly according to Guru Parampara, if he doesn't adhere to him, is not devotional service. Lord Brahma is an example.
Buddha.
Lord Buddha is an example. Even though he is the personality of Godhead himself, his followers are not practicing pure devotional service because for circumstantial reasons. Buddha did not strictly present the scriptures according to Guru Parampara.
So here, is it clear? What do you understood from this? What you understood?
So, one is following actually what is a Guru Parampara, so we should not accept.
Sorry?
So we should not accept who is not following Guru Parampara.
Very good.
And actually who is rejecting Vedic literature.
Very good. Very good.
So Lord Buddha, their followers are not practicing through devotional service as per the scripture.
Yes, yes. Buddha, here is mentioned. He is one of the Aves avatars. But still, we don't follow his teachings. Why? Because it is against the Vedas. It is against the scriptures. So, even if he is the an avatar of the Lord, Avis avatar. Of course, Prabhupada talks about why Buddha appeared. Why Buddha appeared? Why Buddha? Why Krishna appeared as a Buddha? To propagate some atheistic principles. Yes, Prabhupada writes that. If you see, it is the last paragraph, and then this section. If someone asks, why should Krishna propagate atheistic principle? The answer is that it was the desire of Supreme Personality of Godhead to end the violence which was then being committed in the name of the Vedas. The so-called religionists were falsely using the Vedas to justify such violent acts as meditating. And Lord Buddha came to lead the fallen people away from such a false interpretation of the Vedas. Also for the atheists, Lord Buddha preached atheism so that they would follow him, and thus he drift into devotional service to Lord Buddha. Okay, so now we understand the purpose of Buddha. At the same time, the previous paragraph, Prabhupada is saying that here Goswami says that the followers of Buddha cannot be accepted as a devotees. So here, this is very important. The followers who cannot, although Lord Buddha is accepted as an incarnation of Krishna, the followers of such incarnations are not advanced in knowledge of the Vedas. To study the Vedas means to come to the conclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, any religious principle that denies the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not accepted. It's called atheism. Atheism means defying the authority of Vedas, decrying the great acharyas who teach the Vedic scriptures for the benefit of people in general. So we discussed that one of the very important principles that is mentioned in our Vedas, Upanishads, scriptures is the Guru Parampara. The Guru Parampara. And now, if someone comes up with this idea that now let's break this Guru Parampara, let's have only Prabhupada as the final Acharya. What is that? That is atheism. This toxic loyalty, right? If it is also not following the Guru Parampara, not following the scriptures, right? This is also not right. And there's a nice pastime. You might have heard it. When Ram, Lakshmana, Sita, they were there in the forest, and somehow they saw that a lot of dust is really coming out, and they saw that okay, maybe some elephant, some king is coming out. Lakshmana said, okay, let me go to the top of the tree and find out who is coming and who is somebody coming to attack us. And Lakshmana realized it is the King Dasratha's elephant and all these Bharat and Shatrughna, they are coming with so much of army and all that. And Lakshmana says, now I'm really going to annihilate this Bharat, Shatrughna and everybody. At that point, what Ram said, I understand your love for me, but at the same time, you cannot disrespect my devotees. This is Bharat and Chaturthi. So sometimes out of our love for our predecessor Acharya, we disrespect others. We disrespect his disciples. That's not appropriate. And that is called toxic loyalty. That is called toxic loyalty. Yes. Yeah, we're just talking about the principles here. I said, and as Prabhupada is writing here, that how everybody, it's not that okay, as you just read it, it's not that okay, and I'm just connected to spiritual master and I really ignore everybody else. That is not accepted. Or I consider that my spiritual master has told that, which is really against the scripture. Because all the scriptures they talk about Guru Parampara, and my spiritual master, and I am interpreting that my spiritual master has said that no more Guru Parampara. It means it's an offense to the spiritual master, it's an offense to Srila Prabhupada. That we are saying that no, he has stopped, like he's not following his spiritual master, he's not following what Mahaprabhu or Rupa Goswami or all the Acharyas have done it. All the Vedas and Upanishads have done it. Can I say that? Because all the Vaishnava Parampara, the Sanatana Dharma, they really talk about Guru Parampara. Can Srila Prabhupada stop and they go really against the scripture? And if I am saying that Prabhupada going against the scripture, it means I am blaspheming the spiritual master. I am blaspheming Srila Prabhupada. So yes, so this we understand how dangerous it is. Sometimes, in the name of my loyalty, right, to the authority, I created dangerous situation in this society. The same, right, it happened with somebody also from the social perspective also in the Sikh religion as well. They had a lot of respect for the scripture. But they didn't have a proper Guru Parampara. They didn't have Guru, and now we can see the Khalistan and so many other things. They are the offshoots of Sanatana Dharma. But some of this Khalistan, loyalists and terrorists, they talking about killing thousands of Sanatanians. It really brings that violence. It really, you see that people, having that toxic mentality, how they become so violent, how they become so offensive, how they really grow with that fixed mindset. Oh, I am the superior because I am just doing this, and everybody else, they are all nonsense. There's so much of arrogance, so much of superiority. Yes, we need to be careful.
The spiritual master should be Uttama. So how we will know actually they are actually self-doing this? How we can actually
Yes, so through our Dharma Chakshus, we cannot really understand who is Uttama Adhikari. But then we understand that through their behavior, how they are really following they are spiritual masters. Yes, we see that. Yes. We see that how they are dedicating their life for pleasing their spiritual master.
So only by their good qualities, their behavior, and how they follow their Guru.
Yes. Sabde Paricha Nishnata. How they are dedicated to the scriptures and how they are dedicated to the Supreme Lord and their spiritual master. Yes. At the same time, yes, we should not accept anyone and everyone as spiritual master. Gopal writing in this first page. One should not accept someone as a spiritual master, which is fool number one, who doesn't have the control of the senses. who, whose character is covered. Prabhupada is writing on this clarifications. Okay, any questions here? Okay, next, very beautifully. This inquiry about religious principles. Sadharma Pricha. Please read this.
Inquiring about eternal religious principles, Sadharma Puja. The 64 items of Sadhana Bhakti offer many practical ways to increase our devotional service. One way is to simply make note of the questions that arise during our study and contemplation of Shastra and put these questions before a senior Vaishnava. This in itself is devotional service.
So just asking questions about the Lord and the process of bhakti is also an anga of bhakti. Okay? If sincerely ask questions, how can I really develop? How can I serve? This itself is also bhakti. Forget about it, really understanding, following that. Just sincerely asking questions is also a part of bhakti. This itself. So yes, how the Lord is really giving this the sincerity of the purpose, or Lord is really taking that as an essence. So yes, that's why you always have question and answer. Easy says that. That's why we appreciate questions. There should be. That's why. Whenever we should come together, we should really ask each other how to progress bhakti, how to be more sincere in our bhakti, understanding the Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Leela Tattva, all that, the different tattvas, we should understand. That's why Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Siddhanta boliya chitte na karvaga, jaha bhakti Krishna lake sutrudha manas. So don't be lazy thinking that, oh, who will read this philosophy? Who will ask about this philosophy? By understanding, by asking them, by understanding them, by realizing that our faith in Krishna will be stronger. Jaha Vedi Krishna Vedi Sudhrudha Manas. Drudha. Then we'll have a Drudha Bhakti, not as a Kamal Bhakti. Will not have a Komal Sraddha. Then okay, somebody says something, somebody said something in YouTube, somebody said in some social media, we heard some clip or we heard some reel, then we can understand believing and doing it. We should systematically read, we should systematically study, we should systematically hear from the scriptures. So, which one? Okay. Siddhanta Boliya Chitte. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, chapter 1, sorry, chapter 2, 117. Siddhanta Boliya Chitte Nakaravadas, Iha Vede Krishna Nage Sudhrudha Manas. Okay, 2:117. Okay. The fifth component is Sadharma, inquiring about eternity. Now sixth. Okay. Sixth is here. Sixth is being prepared to give up everything material for Krishna's satisfaction. So, yes, Krishnarthe. Krishna Hetu. For the pleasure of Krishna, we give up everything material. Because Prabhupada says again and again, our sense gratification and self-creation, they go ill together. So we cannot continue to be be attached to the material things, and then we can expect that we continue the progression about devotional service. It cannot happen. So for one who has given up, sorry,
Both sense gratification, self-realization, you would want how to any shloka references.
yes, like any sloka that word that we can quote. This is the sloka one has given us material, etc. It's everything. And okay, what is the sloka that we can quote? That as long as somebody is really attached to the enjoyment, he cannot really develop. He cannot attain
Higher placed one shloka is there in the Bhagavad Gita.
which one was it?
Some higher placed shloka.
Visaya Vinivartanate, Shirahara Sati, Asavadram Rasopasya, Param Drishta Vinivartanate. That is there. And of course, that famous 7.5, 30, 31, 32. The three beautiful verses. The verse number 30 says, Matirna Krishne Parato Sotova Mitha Vipatte Dagruha Vatana Adanta Kovi Visatam Tamisram Punas Sarvita Charvanana. That how if somebody is really attached to achieving the Jude, then he cannot really understand the because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life may progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew what has been already chewed. Their inclinations towards Krishna are never aroused, either by the instruction of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Adam to Gopir Visatam Tamisram Punas Punasarvita. And then next, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, these three verses are very beautiful verses. And then the next verse he is saying, Devidu Swartakatim Vishnu Durasayayeva Nirarthamana Andhayatandhe Rupaniyamana Devi Satantram Muradam Nibandham. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to the expansive subject cannot understand the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. So who are engaged in the sense gratification, they don't understand what is the goal of life. The goal of life, what is the Swanta Gati Vishnu, they don't understand this. And as blind man guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attachment led by another material attachment are bound by the ropes of putting Nectar, which are made of very strong cords. And they continue again and again in material life, suffering in the different miseries. Then how they can really be free from this? Is there any solution? Or is Prahlad Maharaj talking about only problems? In the third verse, he is really talking about the solution. How the people who are really suffering in this materialistic life, how they are attached by the ropes of this material desires, how they can be freed. How who are really going towards the hell, who are going towards well, how they can be delivered. The third verse is talking about the solution. How they can do it? Sammati slavaturo kramantrim sparshati anartha bhagamayadakam mahiya sampadarajo bhisekam niskincananam navranitayava. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnava, is completely freed from the material contamination. Person is very much inclined towards materialistic life, cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his non-common activities. Only by becoming Krishna consciousness and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So Mahiya Sampada Rajo Bhiseka. So only by taking the dust of these lotus feet of the devotees, we can really be freed from this. What is the means? Pada Rajo Bhiseka means? What is the meaning? So we'll just find out the devotee and take the dust. Prabhupada writing here. Pada Rajo Bhiseka means yes. You have to hear, and they have to follow their instructions. One must, let's say, Guru Padasraya, Prabhupada again talking about here. One must take shelter, the self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a niskinchana, a person engaged in devotion service, and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to God. Yes, it's available. The tests are nothing but their instruction. That's Father Rajogi seconds we drown ourselves by following the instruction of the spiritual master. Yes. Yes. We are fortunate once you get the dust from the external perspective, but the internal perspective is that how Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya, how he took the instruction of his spiritual master. So unless we take responsibility of following the instruction of the spiritual master, we cannot progress. Once you take responsibility means we Rajo Abhisekam. We should inundate ourselves, with that responsibility, not just a piecemeal manner. And Abhisekam, like doing the Abhisekam only with one drop, that okay, I am just a devotee, I am just following only for 2 minutes, or 5 minutes, or only for 2 hours. No. Abhisekam is fully engrossed. We should completely inundate ourselves by taking responsibility and following the order of the spiritual master. Yes.
You have to follow the instruction of spiritual master. How to know the spiritual master?
Yes. Yes. Especially once again in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adivida, the first chapter talks about the spiritual master. And there we hear about that how the spiritual master, he is there in our heart, of course, as a Paramatma. And externally, he is there as our Guru. And the Guru, he is really there in two forms, as a Diksha Guru and as a Siksha Guru. And yes, both are important. Both are important. So Diksha Guru is the one who really gives us the initiation and who formally connects us to the Parampara and who gives us who kind of makes us take the vow of this 4 unity principles, chanting this mantra. And at the same time, we have our instructing spiritual masters, instructors, who really help us in engaging in the devotional service in a day-to-day. So we should not at any point of time disrespect or even think that the instructing spiritual master, they are not needed, or they are inferior, or they are also like us. And that, of course, our Paramasiksha Guru Ishta Prabhupada, we really take the instruction that he has given us in his books, in his Bani. At the same time, yes, we have the Diksha Guru, who is also a Siksha Guru, right, who gives us instructions through his Bani. And then we have another, so many Siksha Gurus. We hear especially in 11th Canto, 7th chapter, how that Avadut had 24 Gurus. Yes, we can take the instruction from anyone and everyone, whose thoughts are really aligned to the Parampara. Like Prabhupada, he saw that this person, this gentleman is saying that, oh, why, Swamiji, why you are distributing this magazine? Somebody will just throw it away. Why don't you publish books? Prabhupada said, oh, spiritual master, my spiritual master, Sudhir Gopal is speaking to him, so he is respected. Right? So once my heart is pure, once I am sincere, I will really understand what my spiritual master is saying, what my Lord is saying, through anyone and everyone. But I really need that sincerity in my heart, that I should have that humble and submissive mood. So last weekend we were traveling some places in South India. You have been to also Madurai. You have visited some places there. Which are the places you visited? Yes, at the Guru Raghavendra. Which are the places you went around? Some temples. Alagar Perumal, beautiful Sundaraja Perumal. Narasimha's temple also. You went there?
I didn't go to I wanted to be near to my spiritual master, so I didn't go.
Maybe sometime else you can go there. So somehow with Lord's mercy, yes, we were in Madurai and we were also in the Srivilliputturu. And yes, we had a beautiful darshan of this Patapatra side, who is pursued by Periyalvar, his daughter Anda. And we heard that beautiful pastimes there, that how Periyalvar was manifestation of Garuda. He was always serving Bhattapatra Sai by offering garlands. And how he got that idea? Somehow or other, he was not so big scholar. He was not so Vedic expert, right? But somehow he had so much of attachment to Srimad Bhagavatam. And he heard from his spiritual master that once when Krishna and Balram, they were entering to Mathura, at that point of time, yes, Lord Krishna asked for that clothes, and though he didn't give, and somehow Lord purified him. But then as Lord was going further, then he heard that, there was a florist named, they did not have Krishna book. They must read. There's a florist named Sudama. This one was Sudama. So, Sudama, oh, Sudama, I really like this flower. Please give me this garland. Of course, Sudama was very happy, and then he asked the Lord. And it's the only very beautiful verse is there. Kim Kara Vyama. So, how can I serve you? And Prabhupada writes there, is this that should the attitude of the disciple? So that is our Father. How can I serve? But then he really understood that how Lord really loves the garlands. Right? And he said, okay, I'll make my life by building a nice garden, bringing some nice flowers, making garland, and offering it to Bhakti Sastri. That's what he was doing every day. And somehow, with Lord's arrangement, he got this baby girl, Andal, and following her father's footsteps, she was also preparing. But then she was realizing that, oh, this flower garland is so nice, but at the same time, let me check, how does it really look like, once we wear it. She was really also wearing those garlands. And one fine day, it's very I saw that, oh, how come there is a hair here? And I have not yet offered it to the Lord. How come there is a hair? Then he asked the doctor, and did you really, by any chance, how did you know this hair? By any chance you had worn it? Yes, I was just checking it. How can you really wear it? No. I was just thinking, how does it really look like? And so that we can offer something nice to the Lord. And then somehow Periyan was didn't offer that day. The Lord came in his dreams that, she is my eternal constant. And I really accept, the flowers is really owned by her. And of course, from that day onwards, they realize the potency of Andal, and then Andal also says that I don't want to get married anyone else apart from the Lord. And there's no mortal being who is really a fit person with whom I can marry. And then Priyalava said, okay, Lord means which Lord? Then, he spoke about all the different Vishnu avatars, and then finally he spoke about Rangana and how beautiful is Lord Rangana, how majestic is Lord. Yes. And that's the Lord I want to get married. Then of course, not only her father and nearby people from the village, but also Pandya king, everybody really accompanied her, to go to Rangana. Then of course, as she really goes towards Ranganapeti, she disappears. And then in that contact what Ranganath tells very young that yes, she is my eternal consort. Now, of course, you are my father. Right. But then I wanted to tell you the essence of telling this story is like all of this was told by the Pujari. His name is Sudarshan Bhatta, who is coming in the 220th generation of this Periyar. And he told that, please come to my home. His home was just opposite, very small home. It's opposite to the temple. And we went there, and then he described some more pastimes. And then he said that, do you know, in 2017, I got a dream. I got a dream that Andal came and said that you go and meet. It was just a dream of a sannyasi, with saffron dress, with not from India but white colored body. And I was searching for that person for months and years, but I could not find. And somehow one day I got a message of that photo of that sannyasi with the name. And who was that? And then after that he approached the devotees that yes, I want to meet. And then he got to know that Maharaj is in Mayapur only, but then he was saying that okay, I have so much of services here and Sriviluputtur or Tirupati, how can I go? But somehow I got to know Maharaj is in Chennai. Then he said, okay, so he came from Tirupati and he was that was during the time of COVID. Maharaj told him that okay, you have only 5 minutes to meet Maharaj, and that's it. But then once he went to Maharaj, and Maharaj spoke to him for 1.5 to 2 hours. And Maharaj told him that yes, the instruction of Anda is that how beautifully she glorifies the Nama Sankirtan. So I would request that now once again you go back and pray to Andal so that she will bless us to do more and more Nama Sankirtan. So you see, this is the mood of Acharya, this is the mood of spiritual master. At every point of time, always thinking that how to connect each and every one, for the Nama Sankirtan, which is really the pleasure, which is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So why do we have to really worry so much, think about so much? He was showing us of the photo, right, how he was offering his everything to Jagduswain Maharaj in front of Mahaprabhu. He was really transmitting these things. Right? Who doesn't have any connection to Gaudiya Parampara, but then how he got the blessing and instruction from Andal, from this Anwar, from Sri Vaishnava Parampara to go and have fruits. So yes, if we are sincere, not doing so much, with unmistakably signed, what is really required? So the sincerity. Yes.
So he, the I forgot the name, who narrated the story, the 220th generation, Sudarshan Bhattacharya. Like he belongs to a parampara, right?
Yes.
So he just now took the instruction only from Maharaj, no initiation and all like that. You're the
Yeah. Like of course, he himself is a
Acharya.
initiating spiritual master of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Huh.
Right. Of course, nowadays, of course, when he goes there, he distributes, Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita as it is also to the nearby villages and so on. Right? So yes, we can have so many instructing, gurus, but at the same time, we have one initiating guru.
Just that 2 weeks back, I heard a lecture from Ispan Guru on the Andal's pastime. So in that, he said that Andal is also a gopi, but she was a gopi of the Kali Yuga, and she was reading Srimad Bhagavatam a lot, and she said that the Tirupavai, her work, which is the condensed form of all the Vedas. And also they give a parallel of how Mathura and Mathura are synonymous, I mean, there is similarity, and how Vrindavan and Shri Vidyut has similarity. Like the pastime has been transferred to Mathura and Shri Vidyut, like Mathura and Vrindavan.
Yes, that's correct. And some devotees have also given a parallel of Tirupavai, that 30 verses from there, and also Siksastakam, and how they more or less the same mode. At least she is the counselor, she is the expansion of Radharani. Yes.
She in that they are saying she's married Narayana.
Yes.
Narayana means Krishna.
Lakshmi Narayana,
Not
Sita
Vishnu, right? It's
Vishnu, yes. Vishnu Narayana.
then we should take it Vishnu or Krishna. Vishnu means which is
Vishnu, like of course, like all the Mother Sita, Mother Lakshmi, Rukmini, they are all manifestations of Radharani, just like all the Narayanas, they are the expressions of Krishna.
for us is Krishna only.
Yes. Like as we hear that, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna said, Krishna is the origin of everyone. Yes. Like similarly, Radharani is the origin of all the feminine potency of the Lord.
Similarly, Lord Ramana is Samaj means Ram. Samaj
Yes.
is Krishna.
Yes. Rama, they could be Sakarana. Yes, there are so many forms of the Lord, there are so many names of the Lord. I think we already discussed about it, that how Lord Krishna is the Purna, is a complete with 64 qualities, and Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu. There are 60 qualities, they are also. So, Raishya Purna. At the same time, yes, Lord Krishna, he has some additional, like Lila Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Purna Madhuri, Prema Madhuri. There's some additional rasa perspective. That is, Krishna is the origin. Otherwise, they are not different.
also I heard that Anda is Mother Earth herself.
She is also portrayed.
And Krishna so much pleased with her work and her devotion. He has given the name Anda. Anda means she has ruled over me. The name which Krishna has given.
Yes, Lord always says that. The Bhakta Vatsala. Yes, he is a Bhakta Parati. Lord always says this.
So nice Guruji, Lord has given me so many beautiful pastimes.
Yes, there are so many beautiful places, so many beautiful pastimes. It's all we go there once again to increase our faith, increase our intensity of our devotional service. And we should appreciate our Lord reciprocates with his devotees. And yes, I think that's where our next one is residing in a separate place. Right? So yes, if it is said that like in Dwaraka, Puri, or Vrindavan, all these are wonderful places. We should go, we should reside there for some time. At least, it is mentioned that at least we should eternally leave, or at least for a month, or at least for a fortnight, or at least for some time. And we should visit the dhams.
5 days after Yatra.
Yes, Mother.
5 days for Yatra.
Yes, 5 days or 5 weeks, as per our psychophysical nature, as per our whatever, to the best of our capacity. But it's also, it's not that people go to the different places for vacation. We are not going for vacations. Once again, we just go there to recharge ourselves because all the predecessor acharyas, they have kept the treasures of wealth, of prema there. And we go there to recharge ourselves there. Disavasthane, Gauramara, right? Like these are the places for a Mahaprabhu restaurant. Definitely we should go there. And especially you're talking about the Kallam garden, right? Kallam, right? So it's kind of Kallam. So this is the place, it's called Reserve Ketra. This is a reserve hills. This is the place where Mahaprabhu met Paramananda Puri. Kallam means also the Lord who steals the heart with his beauty. Kallam. In Madurai also, near the next temple, there is one more beautiful Kudalla. Kudalla. Here we see the 3 deities are there. Yes, I think that's the next section. We'll talk about the deity worship. The 3 posters of the deities are there. And every Tirupasti are also in one of those. Yeah, very good. So there also we see how many deities are there. Didn't remember? Right. Usually once you go to Raghunath, we see one big Saina Mudra. Or once you go to Bhadraj, he is in a standing Mudra. But in this Kudala, the next to Meenakshi temple, there we have three posters. And in Tirupasti, you know Tirupasti, the significance of Tirupasti? You don't know? Definitely you have heard. If I say something, now you will say yes. You Om Namo Narayanaya chanted by Ramanujan. You don't know that how Mahaprabhu sent Ramanuja to learn the essence of the Vedas, essence of the mantras from Goshti Purna. Goshti Purna, and then he would come. But then Goshti Purna would say, no, you are not qualified yet. Then he would go back and then he would be rejected 17 times and then he would come 18th time. And at that point of time, right? Of course, he was also being instructed by Lord Rangana. Oh, he is Yatiraj, he is Ramanuja. How can you really reject him? And after at that point of time, then you would give what is that mantra? You would give Om Namo Narayana. And then you would tell that, oh, this is the best of the mantras, it has to be given only for the person who is really purified. And if somebody is not purified, you should not give this mantra.
You will open the answer.
You heard this story? Yes, this happens in Tirupati. And then in the same temple, and then he goes to this top of the Gopurams. And then he brings everybody and tells them that, okay, yes, I this is some priceless jewel, please take it. And then he offers it to everyone. And at the same time, before he leaves, he wants to take the final blessing of the spiritual master. And then he was really enraged. Oh, how dare! I told you, now you'll really go to hell. Then Ravana said, yes, spiritual master, yes, I am fallen. I am the most sinful person because I didn't follow. But I really willing to go to the hell. All these people, they really go to the spiritual abode because this is the potency of this Mahamantra, this is the potency of this mantra. And then Goshtapuna said, yes, you are my spiritual master, I am the disciple. And Perumal, at that point of time, he really designated that Ramananda, thank you so much. This is a mode of Vasudeva, this is a mode of Gadash, this is a mode of Mahaprabhu, this is a mode of Prabhupada. And without considering any personal considerations, they want to really distribute this holy name to everyone. Yeah, so in this Tirupasti, there are 4 posters are there. On the ground floor, we have dancing Krishna. And first floor, we have Rangana, like Sudhir poster. And in the second floor, we have standing Krishna. And third top, we have the sitting Krishna. And that's where we go in. You have seen that, you have gone there, no? That arrow past. It's very beautiful. One devotee was saying that, why there are the different postures of the lady, why sitting posture, sleeping posture, standing posture of the ladies. That sometimes, like earlier days, if somebody has taken a debt, and the landlord will come. Jab tak, you are not giving me, I'll just stand here only. Just I'll stand here only. And it's like नहीं अभी कुछ नहीं ठीक है जब तक नहीं दो मैं यहाँ पे बैठूंगा. Then still he doesn't get. जब तक नहीं दोगे मैं यहाँ पे सोऊंगा. Right, I'm lying here till you repay my debt. And there are some Lord is also similarly who is coming there in our heart. Oh, this disobedient, disloyal, living entity, this soul, he has forgotten me. Now I have to take him. First he will come as a standing. चलो बाबा चलते हैं. Doesn't listen. चलो मैं बैठ जाता हूँ अभी. And I just sit here until you don't listen to me. I will not go back. Still you don't listen. Okay, you have to lie down till you agree to go back to God. So yeah, very Rasika understanding of the different forms of the consciousness. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so we discussed about residing in a sacred place. Okay, accepting only what is necessary and living in the body. This is the one. Accepting only what is necessary. Yavad artho vartata. Yes, please read this.
Accepting only what is necessary. Yavad arthano padita. The reference from Arabia Purana indicates that a devotee should accept only what is necessary for physical maintenance. Srila Prabhupada has expanded the meaning in terms of spiritual practices. It is better if one fixes a regulative principle according to his own ability and then follows that vow without fail. That will make him advance in spiritual life.
Okay. So accepting only what is necessary. So this is also, we should accept what is required for our survival of the body. one should not accept more than necessary. Atyahara. And at the same time, here also, even accepting the vows also. So here also. So the purport is that one should not neglect following the principle, nor should one accept the rulings of the user more than that one can easily perform. For example, it may be said that one should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least 100,000 times daily, and that's what Mahaprabhu used to say that. And if somebody is Lakpati, only I will take prasadam in their house. If somebody is not Lakpati means somebody chanting 100,000 times, or somebody chanting only 64 rounds, then only I take prasadam. So yes, ideally we should do that. But then Prabhupada saying, but if this is not possible, then one must minimize his chanting according to his own capacity. One capacity means, okay, I'll continue to chant one round. Does that mean that? Prabhupada is writing next. Generally, we recommend our disciples to chant at least 16 rounds on their japa beads daily, and this should be completed. But if one is not able to chant 16 rounds, then he must take it up the next day. He must be sure to keep his vow. Okay? And if does not strictly follow this out, then he is sure to be negligent. That is offensive in the service of the Lord. And if we encourage offenses, we should not be able to make progress in devotional service. So it is better to, if one fixes up a everyday principle according to his own ability and then follows that vow without fail, that will make advancing in the spiritual life. So we should not, one time, Prabhupada was there with his disciples in Vizag. And all the devotees, they had gone for the morning walk, and some of the disciples of Prabhupada, they were without any chappals and things like that. Prabhupada asked, why did you wear your shoes? No, Prabhupada, we were with you, don't really feel, wearing shoes, and we are so happy. Prabhupada said, don't be that, Palgo Vairagis. You should do the needful. Right? Don't take the extra austerities. Just whatever austerity that I have given, just follow that one. Because once you go there, you kind of, there are some material laws that you cannot avoid. There will be some thorn, there will be some stone, and you will be got hurt, and then you will not be able to do your service. But what is really important? Do the needful. At the same time, please ensure that how you can continue, to chant minimum 16 rounds that Prabhupada has given, minimum 4 regular principles, right? Minimum hearing and chanting. That we should not be, compromised at any point of time. So otherwise, in the name of taking this, being a pure bhakta or a pure bhakta or whatever it is, we take those, so-called additional, I chant from tomorrow, 64 rounds every day, and at the same time, I really compromise my responsibility towards family or towards my other occupational duties or whatever it is, or my seva. That is not accepted. So it is better one fixes the regular principles according to his own ability and then follows that law without fail. At the same time, ability doesn't mean that we are compromising the basic regulatory principles that Prabhupada has given to us. Is it clear? Okay, now next, we should prepare for the next Saturday. What is next Saturday? Yes, once the calendar comes, the first day that we see is the what is Nirjala Ekadasi? Is it in the weekend? Okay, so what is Ekadasi means? It's a fasting, it's a terror. What is Ekadasi means? Harivas. Yes, very good. That's it. Yes, very good. That's the right definition. That's the Harivas. Bhakti Janani Madhavati. It's Bhakti Janani. So, what is this Ekadasi Upavasa means? It's the day of fasting. Upavasa means what?
Stay closer to it.
Yeah, stay closer to the Lord. Some of you might have seen, right? Like, I have prepared a slide. Long back when I have given this another congregation also something like this. This is where I talked about last time as well. You remember that because sometimes the people get scared, why Ekadasi, this chanting, dancing, this thing, I think first thing like that, yes. Yes, Upavasa means staying closer to the Lord. Vasa means stay. Upa means stay. Upanisa, Upavasa. Sarva Papa Prasamanam Punyam Atyantikam Tata Govinda Smaranam Runam Ekadasyam Portion. By fasting on Ekadasi, a person restores all sins, gains abundant pious credits, and attains the remembrance of the Lord. Yes, this is exactly we are reading. This is there in this one. There is another symbol. This is the verse which we talked about. This observing fasting on Ekadasi. And Prabhupada writes to observe Ekadasi Vrata, and Tadasam Vrata means to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those interested in advancing Krishna consciousness must observe Ekadasi Vrata regularly.
What is Radha's Vrata?
Fasting.
Is feasting.
Fasting.
Feasting.
And this is the equation I have given. Grain is equal to bad, fasting is good, but Ekadasi Upavasa means fasting and chanting. Now, remembrance is the important. Otherwise, you fast, but if you don't remember the Lord, means our Ekadasi is not complete. So now Nirjala is coming. We just only meditate on the water. That's not Nirjala Ekadasi. Nirjala Ekadasi means here, Prabhupada is writing. Yes, it is very beautiful. Prabhupada is writing. It is said that one who observes fasting on Ekadasi is freed from all kinds of simple activities. The basic principle is not just to fast, but to increase one's faith and love for Govinda Krishna. The real reason for observing fasting on Ekadasi is to minimize the demands of the body and to engage our mind in the service of the Lord by chanting or performing secular service. The best thing to do on fasting days is to remember the pastimes of Govinda and to hear his holy name constantly. Hari Bol. So even if it means that, okay, yes, if you can perform Nirjala Ekadasi, that's very good. I mean, in other Ekadasis also. Some devotees they perform Nirjala on every Ekadasi. All the 24 Ekadasis. If you cannot do, like you should do some juice. If we cannot do with juice, right, you do it with Sapala or Anukalpa Prasada. But important thing is that, what will really help me to remember the pastimes of the Lord, Nam Rup Pundila of the Lord. The objective is, the principle is minimize the demands of the body and engage our time. So no time for cooking or anything else. Otherwise, on Ekadasi also nowadays Mataji is prepared chapan make some chips, some papada. So, a lot of things. But objective is to minimize the time, minimize the demands of the body and engage our time in the service of the Lord. This is the essence, this is the principle of Ekadasi. Not just only fasting. Is it clear? Okay. And then next aspect is offering respect to the banyan trees and Dhatri Aswathadi Gaurava. Giving respect to Amalaki, Aswatha, other items. Yes, please say this.
The reference quoted from Skanda Purana reveals the scope of this devotional practice. One must respect not only the banyan tree Ashwatha, but all living entities who serve the Lord and His devotees. Such living entities include Tulsi, Brahmanas, and cows. In his commentary on this text of Bhakti Sastri, Jiva Goswami notes that Lord Gopala is pleased when the cows are nicely taken care of. He cites the Gautamiya Tantra, describing how one should gently scratch the body of the cow, offer her a handful of green grass, and reverentially circumambulate with one's right side kept towards her.
So you remember, especially Radha Swami Maharaj, whenever he sees the Aswatha tree and gets down and he offers obeisances, it's a Hari Manas. So then Lord Hari resides. So this trees like Amalaki, Aswatha, or Tulasi, yes, we should offer respects and attentive, we become conscious that yes, this is pleasing to the Lord, these are dear to the Lord. And then we realize that if we become so conscious and so attentive and so respectful even to these plants, and then become conscious and respectful to the devotees and to the spiritual master and to the Lord. So this is the 10 aspects of Prakriti. These are things that we should do. And now we will go through what are the 10 things that we should avoid. And what is that first one? Yes, giving up the company of non-devotees. Atsa Sangatyaga. Sangatyaga Vidurena Bhagavat Vimukhi Jane. Please.
Sri Guru Goswami quotes two references. Even if one is forced to live within the cage of idol or in the midst of blazing fire, he should accept his position rather than live with non-devotees who are true and who against the supremacy of the Lord, and one should prefer to embrace a snake, tiger, or an alligator rather than associate with the persons who are worshippers of various demigods and who are impelled by material desire. Underscoring the importance of this item, Srila Prabhupada adds a third reference by paraphrasing a prominent Chaitanya Charitamrita verse that defines a Vaishnava as one who gives up the company of non-devotees.
What is that verse? Asvasangatyaga, a Vaishnava. The achar of a Vaishnava, of a devotee is that Asvasangatyaga. But in NOI we discussed very much in detail. What are the terms we discussed? In NOI, Sangatyaga. And then Sattavritti is a positive one, and what is the other one? Janasanga. And here is a very nice reference, nice two reference. What is saying? What is a nice quote here? A devotee is willing to stay in a case of iron amongst the blazing fire rather than associating with non-devotees. Yes. Devotees, how careful associating with the non-devotees. And then we discussed also that sometimes we feel that some of our family members are non-devotees or our office, some are non-devotees. How do you really deal with them? What do you discuss? Okay. Or we should say that no, I better stay in a case and but not go to office because the family non devotees are there.
We should not have loving.
Or in the family also there's some non devotees are there, so what should we do? Yes.
And so see, even if we are not devotees in office, we should not share our ideas, have any loving intentions.
Yes, we should not open our heart, or we should not let them also open our heart, which really goes to our ears and heart. So yes, we should do the needful, do the transaction, and just move on.
But for family members, how can we do this?
Yes, and family also. There is a nice verse which says that if somehow family members also, if somebody says something, and then you should say this magic word. Yes, 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 yes. This Shastra, there's somebody that I share with the others also. And they have to just use this word. Okay, yes, 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 yes. It's not that you have to follow it. We have to do the needful. Because another principle, not the detail, principle is also the family dharma. Respecting the parents or spouse or whatever it is. We should not compromise on that principle as well. Unless, right, you see even the quality of Prahlad Maharaj. Samanye Suravaryadeina Sada Samadhigna Niyama. They wait like when his father asked, Suravaryadeina. He was respecting his father. Oh, you are the best of the demons. Yes, at no point of time he was disrespecting his father, though he was torturing so much. This is the quality of a devotee. That Prabhupada writes here, the next one on page. A devotee means even he respects even an ant. Others. Yes. The another quality that we should avoid, what is that? Sisyadi ananubandhitam, not being attached to any disciples. Please say this. There are three aspects here. Three aspects, like not accepting unfit disciples, constructing many temples, or reading many books. Please say so.
Not accepting and not being attached to making disciples, not accepting unfit disciples, constructing many temples or reading many books. If a person is seriously intent to become a disciple, the sannyasi should accept him. If money comes of its own accord, a spiritual master can construct costly temples. However, one must do these things only for the sake of spreading Krishna consciousness, not for increasing one's fame and reputation. Similarly, a qualified person can study the literature of our great Acharya, but his motive must be to purify his heart, not to deliver lectures intended to impress others. False prestige is harshly opposed to bhakti. Avoiding it is an integral item of sadhana.
There you go. So, not like Sisyadi ananubandhitam, means not accepting many disciples. So, yes, we have to increase the numbers of the movement. But in the name of the intent of increase the movement, members of the movement is not to keep myself in the center and to ensure that everybody says Jai Jai Jai, Prabhuji ki Jai, कितना बड़ा sector or circle है उनका. No. It's just for the spreading Krishna consciousness, just for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So not to increase our fame and reputation. Or yes, the other one is really making big temples. once we make a big temple, Gopal is writing here, this just like this Park Bazaar Bodhi Mart. And once the temple is made, the devotees think that okay, which was really having a window room, which is really a bigger room, there was a fight among each other. And Gopal said, it's better that I should not have done this, built this temple, I would have used it for the spreading and publishing these books. So yes, we are making the temples so that it's a better facility to preach more, to spread the Krishna consciousness more. It's not for our personal agenda. And third thing is that reading books. Okay, I just continue to read more and more commentaries, more and more Acharya's books, so that they will know that, oh, see how many shlokas I know, how many references I quote, how many. No, that is not the purpose to make ourselves as a scholar. Our purpose is how can I increase my faith in the Sanskrit? How can I really increase my faith in Krishna? How can I increase my faith in Bhakti? How can I increase my faith in the Nam? That is my purpose. This Apana is for my purification. I am reading it. Otherwise, as we are reading sometime, Bahu Sastre, Bahu Bhakti, Chitte Brahmamaya. Your mind will be confused. And then we don't get confused, then our mind either will confuse with so many contradictions, or will make us more arrogant, which is harshly opposed to the Bhakti. If any questions here, yes, please. Gopal is writing here that sometimes even at a race, sannyasi in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may accept even a person who is not thoroughly fit to become a disciple. Later on, by the mercy of such a bona fide spiritual master, the disciple is gradually elevated. However, if one increases the number of disciples simply for some prestige or false honor, so the spiritual masters, first and foremost activity should be to preach. So what I am reading here. This master foremost, spiritual master, first and foremost activities to preach. So Bhakti Sastri recommended that a spiritual master print books if one has money instead of asking costly temples. Once you spend his money for publishing of their books in different languages. Okay. The next is, and one should be straightforward and saralta Vaishnava, and one should be equilibrium in loss and gain. One should not be too happy or one should be too much in the lamentation or in anger, because in that state we cannot perform bhakti. Okay. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the Ekadashi day, we were asked to read the Mahatmya. So, I just, during those days, they were performing like that.
Sorry, ma'am.
Ekadashi Mahatmya.
Yeah.
So, they mentioned that you have to strictly follow, should not see.
Yes,
and
yes.
all those things.
Yes.
It is very difficult.
Yes, we just read it. What we read it? Accept what is necessary. Accept what our spiritual master, what our acharyas have said. And it is better that one fixes up the regulatory principles according to one's ability. There is something minimum that we have to do. Okay, that we should stay away from the grains. And the principle is to increase our time for Krishna. Less time for Krishna and more time for less time for Maya, more time for Krishna. So So yeah, that's what we say. Like some devotees, they take extraordinary austerities, and that really take them. Okay. So there's a nice verse just to talk on this principle that how one should be steady. From Padma Purana. Sokamrisa adi bhavai akrantam yasya manasam katham tatra mukundasya stuti sambhavana bhave. So it says that katham bhave, like our devotion to the Mukunda will not have when soka amrisa adi, when there is a lamentation, there is anger. So if you are really, lamenting on something, once you are angry with someone, we cannot do daily worship. Because we are angry with someone, we cannot do the chanting. So it should be, steady. So in the mode of passion or ignorance, we should be free from this lamentation and anger. Soka amrisa adi akrantam yasya manasa. Our mind is really filled with lamentation and anger. We cannot work. That is the last line. So the basic principle of Krishna consciousness is to always think Krishna, is to concentrate his mind upon the lotus feet of the Lord. The next point is on the demigods. Yes, one should not neglect to offer due respect to the demigods. One may not be a devotee of the demigods, but doesn't mean that he should be disrespectful to them. For example, the Vaishnava is not a devotee of Lord Shiva or Brahma, but he is duty bound to offer respects to such highly positioned demigods. You know the Vaishnava philosophy? One should offer respect even to an ant. So, then what there is to speak of such exalted persons as Lord Shiva or Brahma. In the Padma Purana it is said that Krishna or Hari is the master of all demigods and therefore is always worshipable. But this does not mean that one should offer with respect to the demigods. Is it clear? Because some of the times, like we say that, we should not respect to Ganesh or Brahma or Shiva. But right? Okay. We should devotees respect into an ant. What about this empowered representatives of the Lord? Yes. Any questions here? This is very important, especially when practicing devotees.
Sometimes we do book distribution together. Sometimes we do book distribution together. That is, we can still go inside.
Of course. We should pray to Ganeshji or Hanumanji that please help us in distributing this. Yes. Devotees, they are praying to Katyayani, so that they can get Krishna as their husband. Yes. But usually, why it is not recommended to worship devatas? Because usually people go there for dhammis, desires, materialisms. Then, we take help of some local municipality, right? Officer that please help us in allowing to distribute. So yes, they are the Nectar, they are the in charge of that place. You should go and take their permission. Right? Isn't it to take the permission of the municipality authority to take to distribute books? And they are the in charge of that place. Yes, we should take their permission. We should take their blessings. Right? But we are not going there to that, we are asking them so that we can be an instrument in distributing this Lord's message. Yes,
Prabhuji, in my family circle, they do deep puja for Goddess Durga. I have to participate in that. If I say no, I am in a big problem. So I participate in it that they offer the prasadam also. I can't say I can't eat it also. So I chant in my mind. I chant the holy names of the Lord.
Yes. Antare Nishtha karo bahya rupa devana. That's a formula Mahaprabhu has given. What is it? Antare Nishtha karo bahya rupa devana. If it is, we cannot avoid it. Just do the needful. The last point, not giving pain to any living entities. Right? not to in-laws, not to spouse, not forget about other living entities as well. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ji, etc. Okay, I would request that so these offenses to be avoided, this seva aparadhas, nama aparadhas, they are just these. I would request all of you just to self-study. Okay, so actually the plan was that to complete even chapter 9. Because the time is less and we have to do more. So, but we'll continue chapter 9 next week. So, and please discuss with the devotees and let me know if you would like to continue on the Nirjala Ekadasi or you want to go to bhajan at home. I'm okay. So, you decide and let me know. Sorry, yes, democracy. Okay, so from next time onwards, we'll focus on chapter 9. Okay. But I would request, please read. If you have any questions or doubts on the chapter 8, please let me know. So,